Why were free Christmas trees given to businesses on Duke Street, Marketplace, top of Bell Street and Hart Street, New Street, and even put on empty shops and multinationals? Is this a two-tier system being operated, whereby businesses outside of the magic circle are considered less worthy? We used to have a level playing field where we all paid for our own trees. That's why we've all got brackets at outside. So are free Christmas trees being given again this year, as I have heard, to the top tier? As I received an email from the town hall suggesting I encourage the businesses on Friday Street, on Reading Road rather than Friday Street, to organise our own and pay through window flowers, as it would look so pretty coming into the centre of town. Well, exactly, which is why those of us on the entrance roads to the town fail to understand why the exclusion. We want the public to know we are not the ones who have excluded ourselves from the festivities. The only answer I could get was there has to be a cut-off. Well, why? I queried the decision with the town manager, who stated it was the town clerk's initiative. Perhaps this can be confirmed, so I'm not saying it is or it isn't. At the last retailers' meeting, the response to a fellow retailer regarding the trees was, "Do you want us to go out as far as Caversham?" Which was actually a very disrespectful response. We just asked as part of the town to be considered part of the town. The trees are a divisive initiative in our market town. It has been underestimated how many of us are aggrieved by this stance, and I'm putting a petition together to make this clear. The town should be united in celebrating the spirit of Christmas and not divided. Thank you.
Yes, please. So this was agreed back in around about January 2023, when I believe you were on the council at the time. So how it has always been is that businesses have had to pay for their own Christmas tree. No businesses are given a Christmas tree for free. However, because there was such a poor showing in Christmas 2022, then we were looking to overhaul the whole light display for the benefit of the town. And so we invested in new brackets in the infrastructure around the town so that we can make sure that there was a good light display in the town. As it had been previously, businesses had to buy their own trees, and we were at the mercy of which businesses wanted to have their own trees as to how good the town centre looked. Because it was looking so poor, then it was decided that for the centre of town, where the focus of the display would be, that we identified premises where we could put up our own trees, around about 150 in total, our own trees around the town centre to complement the festive lighting and the other lighting, and to brighten up the town. I think you would agree that obviously the display that we had last year was much better, but that was a huge investment on the part of the council, and is an ongoing investment which we have to pay for through sponsorship as well. So the cut-off was decided where we have our wiring in the town centre, which is Duke Street, Hart Street, Bell Street, the one-way part of Bell Street, and Marketplace. That is where we control the electrical infrastructure. Outside of that, we're at the mercy of basically the private residents and businesses and their electrical supply. And we've had lots of problems with that in the past. So that's why the cut-off was decided. The other reason is, if we did start going down, say towards Northfield End, then would we need to do New Street, Thameside, Friday Street, Grays Road, Reading Road? There has to be a cut-off somewhere. And the fact is that we're not talking a small expense here. If we're talking £15,000, if we're talking a doubling of the budget, you could be talking that again, or even more, really, to include that whole area. And we just don't have the funds. So the businesses outside those four streets, they have not been disadvantaged in any way. They're in the same position that they were before. It's just that the town council has bought its own trees and put them up in the centre of town. So businesses outside have not been disadvantaged at all. This is all additional money which has been provided by the town centre to make the town by the town council to make the town centre as good as possible to bring people into town for the benefit of all businesses, and that's why we took the decisions that we did.
Can I just correct a point? On the Reading Road, it is actually the electricity of the town grid. It's not my private, because when I had the tree up before, it was put on the actual grid. So it does go out, but for some reason, it doesn't change the fact that it is divisive. And we are main entrance roads into the town. We want to carry on, please. Somebody to speak next regarding that.
All right, yeah.
Eva.
Yeah. I'm Eva Rick at the King's Road. I'm here for Sue Turner at Candela Clinical down the road from, because she's unfortunately in hospital at the moment, so I said I'll become a representative. She really feels that it looks mean on her, you know, when she has customers coming and there isn't trees, there isn't light, there isn't a sign that says actually the town council did X. It looks like she's a real stingy old, and she also pointed out that she has a lot of very wealthy people who comes out from London and then they spend the day here. I think she feels really personally involved because apparently she was chairman of Chamber of Trade when all this was decided many moons ago. It was before I was a Henleyite, and she said at the time the trees were supplied locally from Cook's Nursery. And I agree with Lorraine about the divisiveness, and I am on the retailer group even though I haven't got physical premises anymore. There is a lot of chat on there at the moment, and it is this tier situation. And I think it'd be nice, and that would probably too late for this year, but it'd be nice to sort of consider what is the solution, you know, because it will benefit everybody. The lighter, the more trees, the more happy, the more we can get people coming in. I mean, I've been in Henley coming up for 10 years, and I remember even King's Road and the private residents had trees, and it looked amazing. You know, I'd like to see what can we do instead of this is the problem, what is the solution, and is it a solution we could do without adding extra cost to the council or very little extra cost, I suppose is what I'm trying to say. A lot of the small business owner, independent owners, you know, by default will not be around the square because of the cost, but they are the destination shops in town, and my own is one of those, even though it's not a shop anymore. I do have people, I do give out my residence car permit for the day to my customers so they can stay in Henley. They ask me where to go and eat, they ask me where to go and shop. So the size of our shop or our non-shop doesn't always show what we bring into town. There's a new thing this Christmas, which is the Christmas Tree Festival in St Mary's, which is organised by Michaela from the Herald. And I did ask her what the trees was costing, and she's paying £25 from the Christmas barn for the 5-foot trees, which is a wholesale price, and £10 of those trees are going to the church. So she's effectively getting 5-foot trees for £15, and then the people who are being part of the festival are then decorating them, etc. themselves. So I'm just saying there are alternatives, and it'd be really nice to at some stage think about this, because it's just going to get tougher and tougher out there for every size business where we're heading at. That's my bet on that. I just would like to congratulate Councillor Gavisher and a few other people, Ian and things, who's been involved with the bed thing and getting their voice heard at OCC, and I'm really pleased with that. Thank you.
Thank you for your guys. I think the town clerk has already given quite a lengthy response, so I'm going to move on from that for now. Is there anyone else? Councillor Arnold, would you like to speak on anything? No, in which case, let's move on to minutes of the previous.
Not only speaking public participation.
If it's not related to that issue, we're going to move on from Christmas trees. The town clerk's already given a bit of a response, a detailed response. Would you like to speak on a different subject?
No, I want to speak on that, and I've got a right to speak on that as part of the public. I shouldn't, even though there's two other people, I've still got the right to speak.
I believe it is my discretion to move on from that
That
particular
just
subject.
sums it all up then, doesn't it, really, doesn't it?
Well, I'm going to move on to minutes of the previous meeting. Right. Does anyone wish to make any comments? Opposed? That's one second. All in favour?
Councillor Aitken, leaving meeting. Noted.
Right. Reports from committees. First one, planning, councillor Butler.
The minutes of the meeting of the planning committee for the 24th of September. 89 apologies for absence, 90 declarations of interest, 91 minutes, 92 public participation, 93 plans, as new, 94 objections, calling applications, 96, not 95, decision notices, 97 permitted development, 98 progress report for applications.
All in favour? Thank you.
There's actually two on that.
There is a second one, yes.
Planning committee, Tuesday, 15th of October. 99 apologies for absence, 100 declarations of interest, 101 minutes, 102 public participation, 103 plans amended, 104 plans new, 105 objections, 106 decision notices, 107 budget, 108 29-hour speed limit, 109 proposal to rename Norman Avenue, part of Norman Avenue, 110 certificate of lawfulness of proposed works, 111 progress report.
All in favour? Thank you, councillor Buckley. Councillor Foss. Over to you.
I wish to present the minutes of the meeting for Recreation and Communities Committee held on Tuesday the 15th of October. Item 30, apologies for absence, 31, declaration of interest, 32, public participation, 33 minutes, 34, progress, 35, finances, 36, budget, 25, 26, 37, Makings Recreation Ground Car Park, 38, Jubilee Park repairs to inlaid lines and gaps, 39, Park and Open Spaces Use Policy Review. As so moved.
All in favour? Thank you very much. Councillor Lambert. Go on.
I'd like to present the minutes of the Town and Community Committee meeting held on the 22nd of October. Item 43, apologies. 44, declarations of interest. 45, public participation. 46, minutes. 47, communications manager update. 48, town centre manager update. 49, group and travel, trade, tourism and filming update. 50, finance. 51, budget. 52, progress.
All in favour? Thank you. Councillor Weston.
I'd like to move the minutes of the meeting of the Finance Strategy and Management Committee meeting held on the 29th of October. Item 54, apologies. Item 55, declarations of interest. Item 56, public participation. Item 57, minutes. Item 58, finance. Item 59, expenditure. Item 60, 2025-26 budget. Item 61, rent reviews. Item 62, exclusion of public and press. Item 63, legal updates. Item 64, 353, 357 Reading Road. Item 65, permanent moorings. I so move.
All in favour? Thank you very much. Now to reports from other authorities. Councillor Gantry.
I have no comments about the district report. I don't know whether Councillor Harwood does, but I will speak regarding the council report.
Councillor Arlott, would you like to?
Yes, Mr. President, very quickly, we've been advertising the district council, councillors' grant, where we get £5,000 each. That's £15,000 between the three of us. And I think we've been advertising it too well. At the moment, we've got requests for about £25,000. So we're going to have to sit down over the next couple of weeks and hopefully pick out the most needed. Other than that, I've got nothing to report.
I'm sure that is something that everybody who sits on the finance committee will sympathise with.
So Lewis Assurance.
Yes. I just want to add something. You'll see from the report that SODC, like many town councils and other council of Oxfordshire, did a vote of no confidence in Thames Water. But I just wanted to clarify something that wasn't put out by communications that was very strongly said in the meeting, which was that this was a vote of no confidence in the top staff of Thames Water, the people that are taking the bonuses, the people that are mismanaging. It is no reflection on the local people that work in our sewage treatment works in Henley, in Benson, in Oak Little Marlow, wherever they might be dealing with our sewage. They are working so hard. Councillor Arlott, Joe Rob and myself were fortunate, as I've mentioned previously, to be able to be given a tour and really see how we as a town are impacting our sewage treatment works. And so my eyes were certainly open. I think Joe's eyes were open. I just really wanted to clarify that because it wasn't said, it wasn't put out by SODC that was the sort of passion behind it, but it was in no way an attack on the people that are working in the sewage treatment works day to day.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hinton. I believe our own motion is very much in the same spirit.
Exactly.
Councillor Hinton.
Thank you, Matt. I posed a couple of questions last Tuesday at Camp Council, and also I had my motion. So I just want to talk very briefly about that. I have sent round to all councillors the answers to my questions and also a summary of what happened in the motion. And it will be published with the minutes, I can assume, on the Town Council website so that members of the public can see the report. My first question was about the Marsh Lock and whether Councillor Gant, who is the Cabinet portfolio holder for it, could actually put pressure on the Environment Agency. He said, yes, I will. And in fact, Councillor Freddie Van Muller is also putting pressure on the EA to actually get the pathway open again. I did ask whether Oxfordshire County Council could refuse the renewal of the blockage of the pathway, and he said no, we can't, because on the grounds of safety it has to be closed. So I didn't get anywhere from that point of view. But they are going. Councillor Gant is going to put pressure on the EA. The second question was about budget for potholes, road repairs, etc., etc., etc. And just to let everybody know that our current budget is for the whole of Oxfordshire is 30 million quid. And it's estimated that the repairs needed for Oxfordshire roads is 150 million quid. And my question was, are we going to get any more money from central government? And his answer was, I don't know, because the settlement hasn't come down. But I will be watching this in the budget, because we definitely do need some more money into the budget for road repairs, even though Hart Street and Bell Street, we've had a good bit of funding. Right, moving on to my motion. My motion was about the beds that were in Chiltern Court and were removed in December. And last December, I put down a motion at the County Council. And every time it was timed out, I put it on again, and again, and again, and again. And in fact, it was heard last Tuesday for the 5th time of asking. I am going to thank Eva. I did say at the beginning, Eva wrote I will say a direct email to OCC saying, how dare they my words, how dare they not allow my motion to be heard? All right, because this is the fifth time of asking. What happens at Oxfordshire County Council is in the morning, all the business of the day happens. And then after lunch, motions are heard. There is nothing to stop the administration piling the agenda so that it spills over into the afternoon, so therefore fewer motions are heard in the afternoon. And that certainly is what is happening. Anyway, on Tuesday, my motion was heard. I did make the joke that I should get a blue Peter badge for perseverance and persistence in it, but I won the motion 52-0. And that really is, it really is a considerable achievement. I built a coalition across all parties. They agreed with the motion, and therefore. So what happens is, it doesn't mean we're going to get the beds back, but it does mean that now the Cabinet have got to consult. They've got to create a complete and detailed report to do with the beds, and that will be coming to Cabinet in January. Of course, I will turn up at Cabinet and I will speak vociferously. It has been established beyond any doubt that these beds are NHS beds. And if NHS beds are removed, there has to be a consultation. So they have to give a consultation for these beds, where all the people of Henley are asked, do you still want the beds? Or they've got to come up with damn good reasons why. So anyway, that was that. I am writing a series of questions to Cabinet to make sure that those questions are answered. One more thing I will briefly say, and I will congratulate Ian on this. The other thing that we managed in this furore is to secure Townlands Hospital and the services at Townlands Hospital. And it's a credit to Ian as chair of Townlands Steering Group. We had a meeting with the ICB, with Oxfordshire, and somebody called Ben, who runs Oxford Health Services. They agreed Townlands Hospital is safe, it is secure for all time, or the reasonable future, and that the Royal Berkshire Hospital are bringing more clinics to the floors of the Townlands Hospital. Now that's a real credible achievement because there was a threat to Townlands Hospital and its services. And Ian will be bringing a full report to Town Community, I think, at some point. Anyway, I'll leave that to you to decide when you're going to do it. But, anyway, thank you very much, and I will continue to pursue the motion on the beds. Thank you.
It's very kind of Councillor Cavisher to thank me, but in fact, what's happened was that we turned out about 70 or 80 people in this room at the Town Steering Group meeting. The voice of the community was very clearly heard, and I was only channeling that back to the NHS, back to OCC, back to Oxford Health, and they were forced to listen to us. They knew that they had to do that. As importantly as them saying that the services are not only safe, but we're going to be more likely to be expanded and stay the same. What we also got was an agreement for them that they will continue to engage and consult with us as the community. They have learned the lesson that failing to engage is unhelpful for both them, for the services, and also the confidence of the community in the NHS. And so overall, we've moved a long way forward from where we were a few months ago.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have anything further on this? No, in which case, thank you very much. We will move on to reports of outside bodies. Does anybody wish to speak on outside bodies?
Oh, did you want to do this? Okay, right.
Councillor Iceman.
Sorry, I wasn't sure when you wanted me, but
I think that's on behalf of Green Henley.
yes, I'm a member of Green Henley, and with respect to the proposal that we have later on the agenda on the Environment Agency, we have the chair of Greener Henley, Kate Aldridge, wanted to come and speak tonight on this issue, and she's not been able to for personal reasons, but she's asked me to read out this message of support for the town council's proposal, for the mayor's proposal, which the town council will consider adopting later on this meeting. So these are the words of Kate Aldridge, chair of Greener Henley. Thank you for the opportunity to comment on this important motion. Greener Henley stands in full support of action that holds organisations accountable for their responsibilities to our community and our natural environment. Like many here, Greener Henley is very concerned with the Environment Agency's response to critical local issues, from inadequate oversight of Thames Water to insufficient protection of our rights of way and waterways. While the issues outlined in the motion affect Henley, they also affect broader systemic challenges in the environmental governance and enforcement. The urgent need for better accountability and more responsive action aligns with Greener Henley's mission to drive meaningful systemic change for both climate and nature. We're currently witnessing a catastrophic decline of the Earth's ecosystems. That threatens our health and the very fabric of our society, and it's now critical that we do all we can as a community to protect our precious waterways. We commend the Council for calling for specific remedies and an apology from the Environment Agency. This motion sends a clear signal that Henley expects and deserves higher standards in environmental stewardship and community engagement. Thank you to the Mayor and the Town Council for their leadership on this issue.
Thank you, Councillor Rice. Does anyone else wish to speak from another outside body? I see none. Yes, we'll move on to agenda item 8. There's civic engagements. My diary is certainly starting to get busy again. All in good causes, I'm sure. But since the last meeting I had, or since it was last published to full council, I met with our local MP. I'm very pleased to say that he is keen to engage with us, and I should be meeting with him again at the beginning of December. We've also had our twin visit from Leichlingen, as well as several other events, and I'm very pleased to say that the half marathon, I was told by the chair of the Rotary Club, raised nearly 100,000 for local charities.
Wow.
So
That's
a fantastic response. I think we should as a council send congratulations to them and thank the Rotary Club for all they do for the event. So, Councillor.
Yes, I just wanted to say that I had a wonderful evening on your behalf with Henley Bowls Club. And whenever I go and see the Bowls Club, be it a bowls match or dinner or awards, the next day my ribs and my cheeks feel the effect of the night before. I don't drink any alcohol. It's nothing to do with alcohol. It's just the sheer amount that we laugh together. It really feels like a room filled with old family, because it's just people from all different community groups as well, and not just the Bowls Club there. You know, there are many people, and so I was very grateful and honoured to attend in your presence. I do think that my colour, if I do that again, should be pink, but that's a minor thing on the diary. But while I'm here and we're talking about events, I know it's not quite there because the agenda came out earlier. But I just wanted to congratulate you, Mr. Mayor, on such a wonderful and moving remembrance service on Sunday. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend the 11 a.m. on the steps yesterday because I was doing poppies to Paddington. But I thought the Sunday service, attended by so many wonderful cadets, veterans, the scouts, that I don't want to name people because I'm going to inevitably forget some people. So just everybody that was there to either watch, participate, but yourself leading it all, I thought it was a wonderful speech, and I thought it was a wonderful remembrance service. So congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those kind words, Councillor Hinton. I'm glad you enjoyed the Bowls Club, and I'm sorry I couldn't be there. And yes, I would like to pass my thanks on to everyone who attended the remembrance service, and to all those in the council staff who helped put it together, and of course from Jeremy and all the meeting. It was a very, very moving day. Does anyone else have any other questions on this? Otherwise, we shall move on to the wonderful subject of the budget. We shall move on to the budget.
Yeah, you have the current draft budget in front of you, dated the 29th of October, and there is the summary on page 33 of the numbers. So the fact that it's dated the 29th of October means that it predates the budget. Now, one of the effects of the budget will be on On the line at the bottom of the numbers on page 33, which is the year-end forecast. Currently, we are running slightly better than our budget for the year suggested. That's 127,000. The budget is just over 124,000. The national insurance contributions changes that have been announced by the Chancellor in the budget will affect the Town Council, despite the fact that she exempted public sector workers from or those employers. We are not regarded, for some reason, as a public sector organisation. And the reason for that is that we do not receive government money. This Town Council raises all its money. As you'll see, if you look further through the budget, we raise our money from the precept, the council tax that our residents pay, and also our income streams from the various properties and activities that we undertake. And so we will be seeing that number reduced, and that will also affect the budget for 2025-26, where we will have an increased expenditure of about £25,000. We don't see the National Association of Local Councils is representing the interests of parish councils. We understand that it's concerned about this, but I think there is little optimism that the Chancellor will change her mind. Otherwise, say the budget is taking shape. There will be a meeting of the Value for Money Committee meeting next Tuesday to consider both the final cycle of the budget before it goes to the next meeting of this full council on January the 6th. And we will also be considering the 5-year plan. So councillors are welcome to come and attend that and find out what final changes we can make. But so say currently those are the figures. And so unless there are specific changes that any council would like to make, I'd propose that we note this report and we look forward to receiving the next cycle of meetings. We get that proposal from the Value for Money Committee.
Councillor Iceman, I'm happy to second that. Are there any particular questions before we go to vote? All in favour of noting the draft? Thank you very much. Next, number 10, the Environment Agency report. I shall start by proposing the motion from the chair. I think if I didn't, it would look rather odd given I put it forward in the first place. Before we therefore to vote, do I have a second for the motion? Thank you, Councillor Lambert. Right. Does anyone have any? I think my report speaks for itself, so I'm not proposing to do a long speech with Councillor Hinton.
If anything, I think you've been very nice. I don't think I would have worded it quite so politely, put it that way. I think that there's a lot more that they are lacking in, actually. But I think it's perfectly as it should be. I'm quite happy to support this. There are many failings at the EA, and it's about time that they took some ownership of those problems, took some accountability, and started to fix them. As simple as that.
Thank you. Councillor Buckley.
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to point out that in the element related to the refusal or the failure to respond to planning applications, what doesn't come out very well is the fact that there is Henley Town water is supplied from an aquifer beneath Thames Farm. It exists in a source protection zone 1, and we need both SODC and the Environment Agency to help protect that water. The Environment Agency has refused to respond to planning applications. In doing so, they have actually risked the town's water supply. So on that basis alone, they need to be censured. I appreciate that they are working under budgetary constraints imposed by previous governments. They've had their funding cut by how much? That does not reflect the fact that, as a priority, people's drinking water needs to come first.
Well said, Councillor. Councillor Iceman.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you for bringing forward this proposal. I think it's entirely necessary. The Environment Agency carry important responsibilities regarding the environment that increases in importance every year as threats from climate change and the nature emergency affect all of us. I have been asked, what do you hope to achieve by passing this proposal? And clearly, the town council cannot influence itself, or cannot change the way the Environment Agency operates on its own. However, what we've seen with Thames Water, for example, is that where Henley leads, others follow. And if other councils, other organisations continue to pass motions and apply pressure, and the MP in the House of Commons has agreed to support this as well, the pressure should build up, and eventually the failing nature of the Environment Agency should be addressed, and we're increasing the chances of that happening and happening in the right way. So it's not an empty gesture. These kind of proposals have been shown to succeed.
Thank you, Councillor Riceman. Councillor Darrell.
Thank you. Ken, Kelly and I had the enormous pleasure of being at SODC about a couple of weeks ago, in which Joe Robb absolutely eloquently took Thames Water apart. She did also reference our motion as well, that was led by you, Rory, as well, that you actually proposed the motion on Thames Water and led it through. Since then, the District Council and the County Council and lots of towns up and down the Thames have followed suit. So well done for that. She did in her speech say there is no criticism of the employees of Thames Water, and I would say there should be no criticism of the employees of the Environment Agency. They work very, very hard. It's the board of the Environment Agency and the lack of funding that we are targeting and speaking about. And this is an excellent motion. It starts the ball rolling in actually getting a better Environment Agency, which is the only organisation tasked with looking after the environment. So if they're not doing, if they're failing in those duties, we absolutely should put pressure on them with this motion. So well done for bringing it.
Thank you. Does anyone else to speak to this motion? Not? I say move. All in favour? Thank you all very much. Last one on the agenda, the town bus service. Councillor Ganshaw.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's page 49 of the agenda to do with the bus service, and the proposal is on page 52, which says this council resolves that £70,000 be allocated from SIL to fund the extension of the bus service from 3 days to 5 days using an electric bus. This is seriously good news. In the last election, we actually made an absolute commitment to a 5-day bus service. And this is the culmination of that. I have had conversations with TK Travel. By the way, for those of you who don't know, TK means Tony and Katie. It's a family-run business, and in fact, it was a family-run business introduced to us by Councillor Romans, who had actually used their services. It's a fantastic company. They're actually based the other side of Reading. And we approached them and said, could you do a 5-day service? And they said, yes. Of course, there is a cost to it, which is in here. We created a report, and thanks to Paul Sheridan and Mercedes for creating the report with all the figures. And we put it to the Climate Emergency Working Group, and they were slightly horrified that we were extending a 3-day bus service into a 5-day bus service for a diesel bus, which of course has implications for our carbon footprint. All right. And in this report, and I'm not going to go over it, you will see Councillor Hoskins, who unfortunately can't be here tonight, actually pointed out that it would increase our carbon footprint if we extended it with the bus. The bus working group, of which Glenn, Rory, Jill and I are members, actually said, well, why don't we ask CK Travel where they can produce whether they can get an electric bus. So we did. And in fact, Tony came back within 3 or 4 days and said, I have got a very, very good deal on an electric bus. I won't go into the figures because it's commercially confidential. It's to do with TK Travel, but it is a very, very good deal. I'll say that loud and clear. It's a very, very good deal for Henley, such that the electric bus is only going to cost us 20 quid a day more than the diesel bus would have cost us. So it's really good. The electric bus is going to be charged over at their depot, which is the other side of Reading. They are installing a DC fast charger. They are putting solar panels on the roof of their barns, which they actually do all the repairs. So therefore, and in fact, Councillor Kandaya asked me last night whether it was an eco electricity tariff that they were using. The answer is yes. So therefore, it's good news from that point of view. There are 12,000 trips done by this bus a year. There are lots of vulnerable people in Henley that would be completely isolated if we didn't provide this bus. This is a community service. This is rather like the skate park. It's providing community things. It's rather like the Townlands Hospital that we referenced earlier. Community facilities. It's like the 60s Club. We provide community facilities for the community of Henley. And this bus service is exactly that. It's a 5-day service, Monday to Friday. We would have liked to extend the hours, but we can't, because we can't afford it. So it will be Monday to Friday, 9 till 2. And again, we thank Tony and Katie for that. Briefly, it is worth saying about the funding. Where is the funding coming from? Well, the funding largely is coming from Highlands Park, which the bus service deals. It's coming from Section 106 money, and it's coming from our SIL payments. The bus they're getting is a brand new electric bus, not a second-hand one. It's brand new. It's coming from the same company as our existing bus. So we know it's reliable. So we have a choice to make. And all I would say is the electric bus is the right choice. And I would hope that in fact the service would start from about March onwards. There will be 2 or 3 month delay because we have to log the new routes with the travel commissioners, and that takes 12 weeks to do that process. So, subject to this vote this evening, we will get the process going. Councillor Dodds is going to second. Thank you very much.
Okay, Councillor Dodds.
Thank you. I'm very happy to second the motion. I think that Councillor Gabczak should deserves a second in Peter Band, because you are extraordinarily dogged and persistent when you get one of these out, and you've put a huge amount of energy and thought into this. So I'm very happy to second it. You mentioned it is in the tradition of very bold ideas. You've mentioned some of my pet ones, like the skate park and the 60s Club, but we have done some extraordinary things over the last 20, 30 years. And this is another one of these wonderful, bold ideas to fund the bus for people to move around. It ticks all the boxes. We have the money. It's green, electric, having a wonderful electric bus to drive around. And what a message that gives to everybody. And it's was in the manifesto pledge, and a wonderful, wonderful thing for the community. And so I'm very, very happy to second the motion, and thank you once again for all the energy you put into pursuing this one.
Thanks to the committee.
Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just have a few statements, really. So I think if we cast our minds back to the heady days of 2020, when Reading Buses left us in a bit of a difficult situation, let's say, during very uncertain and unpredictable times, we had to come up with a solution, really, to sort that out. And I think when I look at what Councillor Gabczak has proposed this evening, okay, it's an election manifesto commitment, but it's also an aspiration, I think, and that was the aspiration to restore the bus back to what we could eventually achieve, which I think one of the route to doing, no pun intended. I think looking ahead, and I think this is one for the steering committee really, and I think I have suggested this to Councillor Garishat before, so he's nodding away, so he knows what I'm probably going to say. Looking at the the usage of the bus, I really do think we need to have a look at the data, work out which stops are, let's say, the most profitable, where we get good loads and things, because if that's justification, let's say, for more trips down to Waterman's, does it mean we have to run an extra bus up Grays Road or something like that? Then let's look at that, really. At the end of the day, it's a community asset. So I do think we should be looking at the data to try and maximise where we can try and earn more revenue. And also, I think looking at the report, there was talk about sponsorship and things. I do think it would be good to push for that to try and get the bus on a bit more of an economical footing going forwards, because still money will not last forever. So, yeah. That's it.
Thank you very much. Oh, sorry.
I'm round the corner. Yeah, the public transport's a really important thing for communities, as has been hinted at. And 10 years ago, the county council, which is responsible for bus routes, decided to cut back on its services, and we were threatened with the loss of our local bus service. And as so often happens, this council stepped in and took up both the administrative task of organising it and the costs of funding that service. And we've done that with, for example, the pedestrian crossings. There are a number of other things that this council does, which is not our duty to do. It is the responsibility of other councils, but as we know, county councils and district councils find it hard to fund those very important community services, and this is one of them. It's absolutely great that we're getting an electric bus, and I thoroughly support that. We are having to put money in, and I very much hope that we can improve the marketing of this service so we can both make it pay for itself more, but also extend the service so it can be throughout the day as opposed to just 9 till 2. But we've improved it from 3 to 5 days. We're going in the right direction. This is a great proposal.
Thanks, Congressman.
Sum up? Yes. I'll just sum up. There were a few things I forgot, so I will be brief. Councillor Romans is absolutely right. The bus working group have got to look at usage. They've got to look at publicity. We will also be looking at the fares as well, and also the sponsorship. You quite rightly referenced that. One omission I didn't say was, thanks to Harpsden, you will see in this report that Harpsden Parish Council, who are getting still money from Highlands Park, have put in a contribution of £15,000 to the pot. I am hoping for the year, I'm hoping that we will follow that when it's successful, etc., etc., etc. But Harpsden might put in another £15,000. And one final thing before I say, I had the pleasure a year or so ago of travelling with Norman Thompson on a bus, who's a wonderful guy. He lives at Gainsborough. And we got on the bus and we travelled down to town, and I said, well, what do you do? And he said, well, what I do is I come down on the bus first thing in the morning, I walk from there to the library to do my research, and then round about 12 o'clock I have a coffee in the town, and then I walk to the bus and it carries me back home. And he does that 3 days a week. So that exemplifies what a wonderful service we as a council are doing. That it enables Norman to come down to the library, keep warm, and do his research. So it's absolutely fantastic. So can I just, in summary, propose the recommendation that is on page 52. Thank you.
As I see no more questions, all in favour? Thank you very much, everyone. Close the meeting. Thank you all.